Welcome to episode 2 of the Us and Oceans Live News podcast. Us and Oceans Live News, the podcast. Hello everyone, how are you? My name is Chappell and welcome back again to Us and Oceans Live News, the podcast. The news organisation that helps spread awareness to the people regarding oceans, marine conservation issues and problems by sharing the statements and infos from various marine conservation organisations, from various genuine sources of course, for a better health of the oceans, the planet and all the sentient beings that live upon it. So before we get started, I just want to say if you want to get in touch with me, you can do so by various ways. You can contact me via Facebook. Obviously, just search Us and Oceans Live News on Facebook. And you can also go to Twitter, which is Twitter at us_oceans. Or you can look for me on Instagram, contact me that way. Or you can go to my new website, which I have written down. It is Us and Oceans Live New, which is without the S at the end of the news, .wixsite, that's wixsite.com/website. And you will find me there too. You can get me in touch with me there. If you want to talk to me about anything, maybe if you have any sort of want to talk about any sort of environmental issues or regarding the oceans or the planet or even your health, you can get in touch with me that way. And also if you've got anything that you want to promote, it's early stage of the podcast, but who knows, it might get some grounding in the social society, and maybe promoting your product that is good for the environment, the oceans and the health, and I will give you a shout out for that. I would be more than happy to do so. Anything that helps the environment, and you've got a product out that you would like to bring out there, I will put it on my podcast. I would like to talk about various issues and news reports that have been happening over the last 2 days. And one of them is where several protesters that turned dramatic across the weekend have ignited debate among Australians, which is the Justice for Captive group stormed the animal shows at Village Roadshow, SeaWorld and Australian Outback Spectacular and took a stand outside Dreamworld to fight against animals being used for entertainment. The protest at SeaWorld caused the cancellation of the dolphin show after scenes turned ugly, with disappointed families forced to leave because the group refused to get out of the pool. Thousands of people have taken to social media to have their say on the matter, either applauding their efforts or condemning them. Both sides to share their thoughts and devise issue of keeping animals in captivity. SeaWorld said, "We have a long history of working with marine animals, with over 40 years of experience in animal care, research and rescue. The health and well-being of our animals is the utmost priority at SeaWorld, and we have a strong reputation for caring for marine animals. SeaWorld is an accredited zoological institution under the Zoo and Aquarium Association, and we are also regulated by multiple states and federal government agencies. You have detailed, strong animal welfare ethics policy document and drives every action and decision that relates to the animals in our care. Though through our non-profit SeaWorld Research and Rescue Foundation, we have rescued, rehabilitated and released thousands of marine animals, as well as funded over 150 marine research projects with high scientific merit. Every time SeaWorld is involved in the rescue, a contribution is made to the public awareness and scientific knowledge. This program also helps Australian scientists with their research into marine life. While we are aware that some people do not support the idea of animals in human care, we are proud of our passionate team our world-class facilities and our passion as a global community leader in conservation and education. The animals in SeaWorld live in a world-class exhibits, with the dolphin living in some of the largest filtered natural sand-bottom lagoon systems in the world. It was well disappointing to see actions of radical minority group over the weekend. We are a family-friendly destination, and it was upsetting that this group put our guests, team members and animals in danger through their actions. We welcome constructive and professional dialogue with activists, groups in a respectful manner, and find the tactics of this group unprofessional and dangerous, not only to themselves but to the animals and guests. We believe that zoos and aquariums play a vital role in community engagement and education, and provide an opportunity for many people who would never get the chance to experience animals in the wild to build appreciation that may hopefully have a lasting effect on their actions towards marine conservation. Our marine environment is greatly impacted by human involvement, and with zoos and aquariums in Australasia, attracting over 18 million people each year, this is the perfect opportunity to promote conservation and education. What we refer to as edutainment is a platform which allows us to communicate these educational and conservation messages to large groups of people, while also highlighting the threats facing animals in the wild. Our exhibits, presentation and animal adventure programs, as well as education and conservation based with the behaviours to demonstrate extension of animal natural behaviours. Justice for captivity, anti-contaminant actions such as these represent a confronting yet necessary plea to animal showgoers to look beyond veils of conservation and education, and recognise that there is no form for animal entertainment or up-close and personal experience that does not come at a cost to the animal themselves. Justice for captives relentlessly pursues highly contentious issues surrounding the divide between animals in entertainment and education and conservation. We acknowledge the conservation efforts presented by numerous organisations, but we will be the burning voice behind hundreds of captive animals with their free will removed from their profitability. We are the catalyst behind an ever-changing culture which is ever inspiring to our children. Setting a good example of what is acceptable for the entertainment industry is at the forefront of our concern. We are a peaceful assembly of dedicated and professional Australians from all backgrounds united by a common goal: to put animal entertainment in the history of books. In the wild, the common bottlenose dolphin can swim up to 70 kilometres a day, playing and hunting among hundreds of other dolphins in complex social pods, networks and hierarchies. Dolphins also spend approximately 80 to 90% of their time under deep sea water and have the freedom to make their own choices. In contrast, dolphins at SeaWorld are housed in small artificial enclosures with compromised family structures, unable to swim in the straight line for long or dive deeply, and they spend about 80% of their time in the shallow water surface looking for food and attention from their trainers, and waiting for the next close encounter with the public. For decades, humans have been using dolphins and whales for entertainment purposes. However, 17 countries have now banned dolphin in captivity, including India, which declared dolphins as non-human persons, and the most recent being Canada, which banned keeping and breeding these marine mammals in captivity through amendments to the criminal code. Confining dolphins to a natural environment come at a cost of unimaginable cruelty towards these emotionally sophisticated mammals. Disguising animal cruelty with conservation is a weak attempt at undermining the intelligence of everyday Australians. The SeaWorld Mythbusters: dolphins are only fed if they perform. The food the dolphins receive during the presentations form only part of their balanced daily diet. They have a daily food intake which is designed to meet their nutritional needs. No animal is forced to undertake any action or behaviour. They have choices, and if they wish to not undertake any particular behaviour, then they make that choice. Dolphins are taken from the wild. This is another myth. They say dolphins are taken from the wild. The majority of dolphins have been born at SeaWorld as part of a managed breeding programme, which has been in place for many years. Some animals are third generations, and others were transferred to SeaWorld many years ago when other facilities in Australia and New Guinea closed. The Australian government does not permit the import or export of cetaceans, whales, dolphins and porpoises, except for special circumstances under the strict conservation plan. The take or interference of the wild dolphins is strictly illegal in Australian waters. You only rescue animals so you can keep them at SeaWorld. With all of our rescues, our primary goal is always rehabilitate and release. However, unfortunately, sometimes it's not just the case, and animals are unable to be released due to their inability to survive in the wild. The decision for an animal is to be kept at SeaWorld is made by the Queensland Government, and this is the best interest of the animal. Dolphin breeding is forced and artificial. All of the breeding is done as part of a managed breeding program and is done naturally. We don't artificially inseminate or force the animals to breed. Dolphins live in small concrete tanks. SeaWorld is very proud of its world-class exhibits for dolphins, including some of the large filtered natural sand-bottom lagoon systems in the world. Blackfish documentary, looking at the consequences of keeping killer whales in captivity. SeaWorld on the Gold Coast is owned and operated by Village Roadshow Theme Parks, a division of Village Roadshow Limited. SeaWorld Properties in the United States are an unrelated company. SeaWorld on the Gold Coast has never and would never house killer whales. The Cove Taiji Dolphin Drive Hunt. SeaWorld does not support Taiji or any other drive fisheries, and no animals at SeaWorld have been sourced either directly or indirectly from Taiji. SeaWorld has joined international zoological associations in their protest to prevent these drives from occurring. Well, I've just got something to say about that. This is the news feed I've read. I've just got something to say about that. Basically, the problem is the vast amount of money that is being put into these sea worlds or sea shows or sea aquariums, call them what you like, and even though they may or may not have the best interests at heart of these marine animals, the whole point behind it is, in my opinion, is all these other organisations, they see it as a cash cow. They want to follow suit. They want to follow suit in sea. They want to follow in SeaWorld's tracks. They see they don't see the well-being of the animal. They just see the money flowing in. They'll see, oh, look at how much SeaWorld is bringing in. We could do the same. So let's go and get these dolphins from Taiji, where they not just hunt loads of full pod of dolphins, slaughter so many that are not deemed susceptible to be trained, slaughter them, and the rest they get selected and then given antidepressants so they don't jump out the pens, very lethargic. This is the truth, by the way. You can look it up on. Just all you have to do is type in Taiji dolphin hunt and all that, and you'll see all the information that you want to know about. But that's how human nature works. If there wasn't such thing as SeaWorld, let nature take its course and everything, this would happen. Maybe it still would, but at least we could put a law around it. At the moment, because SeaWorld are doing it, or the other companies will say, well, SeaWorld are doing it, so why aren't we allowed to do it? Then they put this this loophole around it, saying, well, SeaWorld are doing it, so we are doing it. But they don't get their dolphins from a legit source, like maybe SeaWorld would. So that's basically what I've got to say about that, which is quite a serious discussion, really, when it comes down to it. Well, those are one of the first news feeds I found in the last 2 days, which is about SeaWorld trying to fight back with these protesters. And I can't understand why SeaWorld would say that, oh, these dolphins, and they can't go back out in the wild. There was this, I can't remember exactly where it was, but there was these dolphins that they created a sanctuary, like a huge cove, which is it's much larger than just an ordinary pool in SeaWorld. It's like a proper sanctuary where the hope that the dolphin will be, because it's back in the ocean, part back of the ocean, that eventually will train itself to be part of the ocean, hunt the fish and all this, and sort of get its wild instincts back, as if to say, so to say. And why not do that? If you really care about these animals, then you should really make the effort to make sure they're back in the wild again, instead of making money off it. As much as it benefits the animals that are being injured and you've took them in or been bred in the actual park. Everything has to be done to try and make it possible for the dolphins to return back to the wild. And we need to bring the hammer down on Taiji in Japan. Tell them to stop doing what they're doing with these dolphins. It's totally unacceptable. It's barbaric. It's totally barbaric what's happening over there. So yeah, it's absolutely, it's a catch-22 situation with some people, because they know for a fact that if there's no dolphins, there's no whales or anything, SeaWorld are going to lose a huge amounts of money, which is happening in SeaWorld in Florida, California, where the majority of people who watch Blackfish, they stopped going. They stopped going, and I'm presuming that the orca shows they're bound to stop very soon. And there's not much, there won't be much else going on there very shortly, because people are waking up to what's happening out there. They know that these fish are not supposed to be in a small tank. So I've got the next issue, the next news issue here. This one's basically about seafood, and Gorton's Seafood and the New England Aquarium celebrate 10 years of improving and promoting sustainable fisheries. Gloucester, December 18th, 2018. Gorton Seafood and the New Aquarium celebrate a 10-year partnership of bringing sustainable and seafood to consumers. Due to its close partnership with Aquarium and the Cabot Centre for the Ocean Life, Garton can proudly claim 100% of its principal products as certified sustainable or in full assessment of certification. A focus on the partnership has been increasing in the number of fisheries and farms that are environmentally certified by a third party. Environmental certification provides assurance that these fish are caught or farmed in ways that protect the long-term supply of seafood and minimise impact on the ecosystem. Well, I just got something to say about that. Garton's Seafood Firm, or whatever you call yourself, there is no such thing as sustainable fishery. There's no such thing. Fish farms cause as much problems as normal fishing does, where they're totally taking everything out of the ocean. There's nothing going to be left in about another 50 years' time. Where it comes down to the fish farm is, the problem is sea lice. There's a huge problem with sea lice, especially when it comes to the salmon, farmed salmon up in Scotland, and especially in British Columbia, in Alaska, between Alaska and Canada, where they hold the salmon in these pens and farm them. The problem is the excrement that floats down to the bottom net of these farms accumulate, spreading disease. One of them has been found in the British Columbia, which Sea Shepherd are actually helping a professor that currently down there, and this is causing piscine orthoreovirus, where the bone structures, as they grow from infant to adulthood, the bone structures are deformed, and these disease spread in the pens. You guys who eat fish, if you have, when it says sustainable farmed fish, these fish have, the majority of these fish have this problem, this piscine reovirus. Not knowing what effect it has on the humans, the main problem is that the wild salmon that swim past these pens, these holding pens, these fish farms, they contract this disease, this piscine reovirus, and it spreads through the sea lice that are attached to the fish, releasing and going to this wild salmon. And what happens is, these wild salmon, they get very, very sick. They get this piscine reovirus, and as they grow to maturity, as you know, they go to the rivers, they go to try and swim up rivers, but because their bone structures are so deformed, they're unable to get to the reservoir where they breed. And the bears are actually catching these salmon on their way up the river. They're starving. They're literally starving to death up there. That's why so many are getting shot, because they're going to these like camps, where people have a picnic, and all of these bears they're coming into the camps, because obviously they're totally starving, because there's no salmon. They can't get up the river, and it seems to be very difficult to get through to the Canadian government. And the Sea Shepherd are down there with trying to think of the RV research vessel Charlie Sheen. If you have a look on Sea Shepherd RV Charlie Sheen, no, sorry, not Charlie Sheen. I'm totally wrong here. Not the Charlie Sheen. My apologies. It's the RV Martin Sheen, Sea Shepherd RV Martin Sheen. If you search it up on Facebook, you can see about the Operation Virus Hunter, which is going on right now. They've been doing it for quite several seasons now. They're trying to stop the fish farms there, and they got the locals, that the tribesmen that are trying to stop it too, because obviously the fish are so sick that these tribe people that are they're living off the fish, they got nowhere to. They've got no fish to catch because these fish are so sick. There's hardly any fish around. There's hardly any salmon around anymore. So, and also the territory where these fish farms are putting these farm pens, these fish farms, these salmon fish farms. They don't have any permission from these tribes people to be there, and the Canadian government office, they say that this territory does not belong to the tribes people, but as it states in very, very traditional laws, that these territories do belong to these tribes and have been given to these tribes from a very long time ago, because they got moved from somewhere else. So these territories do belong to these tribes people. Well, these fish farm companies, which are from Denmark or Norway, I'm not pretty sure where from, they just go there and do these fish farms, and the government doesn't say anything. And the reason why they don't say anything, because there's obviously bribes and tax money to be had from these fish farms, who are there polluting the waters with this parasite orthoreovirus. Needs to be stopped immediately. The same thing is like with in Scotland is also they are infested with these sea lices. And so this Garden seafood news that's going on here, I'd just like to say there's no such thing as sustainable fishing. It's all total bravado. Fishing absolutely needs to be stopped totally before there won't be any fish left. I've got a father-in-law, and his father said to him, I said, if when the cod wars were on in the North Sea, he said, if they'd only stopped fishing for 5 years, you'd be able to walk from the British coast over to the Dutch coast on the back of cod. Well, it's a bit of an exaggeration in my eyes, but I just wouldn't go there anyway. I'm 100% plant-based consumer. I don't eat no fish, so but still, there are fish and predators out there that consume fish, and they're starving also. Like orca whales in the Atlantic Ocean, on the east side of Canada, where they got the dams, these hydro-powered dams. They are currently, the salmon, they can't get up there either, and there's, because obviously the dams are in the way. There's no way for these salmon to get to their breeding grounds, and because of that, the orcas on the east side are starving also because there's no salmon. Very unsustainable. Any sort of fishing, any sort of fish farming, call it what you like, is totally unsustainable and unacceptable, and absolutely needs to be changed. If you have any comments about that, you can always comment me. Give me a comment. I'm on YouTube or wherever this is going to be on a platform. I could discuss whenever you like to. So I reckon this is an issue that's going for 25 minutes, so I think we'll leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. So if you get to listen to this podcast on any platform, YouTube, Anchor, Podcast, or any other, please like my podcast. It will give me some traction. Subscribe if it's YouTube, or you can go on Facebook for Ocean Oceans, like my page there. And I hope that I will see you, or will hear you, or talk to you very soon. So don't forget to keep sharing. Please let us help the world know about various marine issues. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.